This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan, with your host, Nancy Smitham, and get the latest from Alpena Community College with Dr. Don Mcmaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Nancy Smitham. My first guest today is Brad Summers from the Boys and Girls Club of Alpena. Hi, Brad.
Hi, Nancy.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And you've had a remarkable year last year, a year that is going to go down in history for fundraising and new and exciting developments in spite of all of the other things that have gone on in our world.
You know, it's definitely been an unprecedented year for support from not only our community, but from governmental entities as well, and foundations, and so much more attention to especially our Open New Doors Capital Campaign project, and just the general operating expenses of our organization. As we plan to expand and collaborate and partner more with our community and with the state of Michigan, and opportunities that we can present to our community and to our kids. It's pretty cool to see these expansion projects kind of moving forward in a very progressive way as we look to move into our new building in the next year or a little over a year. So we can support that growth in our new building, something that we struggle with now just because of the limited space that we have and what we can do in our building, our existing building. So it's really cool to see the amazing people of our community that have done so many wonderful things to make sure that we can keep providing the resources to our kids. And every donation, whether it's $1 or $5,000, means so much to us. And we literally could not do what we do without the supportive nature of our community. You've heard me say this a million times, it seems like, on this program, but we're only allowed to do what we can do because of the other people stepping up to help us. And
I know you're very fiscally responsible for the amount of money that you have, and I know you have a good board backing you up, and so you're in a good spot to head into 2022.
We are. There were some scary points where we thought maybe there'd be some shortfalls, but at the end of the year, people really just they cut those checks, they stop in with donations, to really support the initiatives that we have, especially our free daily food program. We've supported over 19,000 meals this year to kids in the community and their families. Throughout the whole entire COVID pandemic, it's been tough on not only us as a nonprofit, but other nonprofits in our community, and especially some of our families. And thankfully, we've been able to apply for extra grants, or other people have just earmarked maybe an extra donation for us. Just to make sure that we are able to continue the crucial programs and opportunities that we have for our kids.
Excuse me, I want to let people know that you're not done taking donations. We're not at our goal yet. Please, like you said, $1, $5, $10. I got a tickle in my throat for some reason. Okay, so as we're taping this, you're winding down the holiday season and getting ready for the new year. What can we expect?
So we're really amping up our homework help program for the kids, really trying to make sure that these kids stay on track with their academic prowess, making sure that we're trying to work with as much as we can with the school system to make sure that these kids have the resources within our building too, and that we're working with that extra level just to make sure that the next day they go to school that they have their homework completed, that they don't have as many missing assignments, because some of our kids, they really do struggle in school. So to have that extra, that ability to be able to keep kids on track, whether it be credit recovery through our volunteer program or just handing in those missing assignments, is really important to us, because that's one of the biggest things that we pass on is that
and sometimes just having that one extra person on your team can make all the difference. And it's been many years since I've been able to help my kids or grandkids with homework, so thank the Lord that you're there.
And then mentors is another thing. We're really looking to push more mentors for 2022 as the the COVID pandemic is not winding down, but people are more acclimated right now to want to start volunteering again. We do have an older population that does do a lot of our mentoring, so it was a little scary for them to be around a lot of little kids and to come in and do some homework help. But we're really going to make a push in 2022 to get those mentors back, to reestablish some of those relationships and that rapport with our young ones, and just make it so that these kids feel supported, whether it be in our school or in our building or at school, and just trying to help these kids be the best little people they possibly can.
And all of this for $10 per youth per school year.
Yeah, it's definitely a cost-effective way to have your kids looked out, cared for by an amazing staff of people that we have working. The youth development professionals that we have on staff have a deep care and a deep rapport with the parents and the kids. That's really important for us to be able to have that rapport with the parents, especially when it's these kids become like teenagers and a little bit older. To have that support from the parent structure, just helps us reiterate so many messages that we try to get across. So that's an incredible partnership is with those parents, and of course we have a lot of younger kids, elementary age kids. We've never seen the need more strong than it is right now for a teen center at our building.
Yes.
We're starting to see a lot more teenagers.
And that's amazing because teenagers don't participate in things, so that's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. They eat a lot, which is a good thing.
Yes.
Thankfully we have some sponsors that have been stepping up, like Remax. We've had Brian Peterson from Nowicki's. We've had some other entities that have really just done some things for our teen night sponsorships where they help provide some food for the kids, some really fun activities. We just had a bowling event for the teens just a couple Tuesdays ago, which was a really fun event. It took like 30, I think almost 40 kids, and went to the bowling alley and they got to eat pizza, have fun with their friends, and they get to interact in their own age group.
Right.
So they're not just hanging around like 6 and 8, 9-year-olds all day. So we do have age specific programming, but at certain points they mingle or they're around in the social atmosphere. But it's really cool to see as many teens as we are seeing on a daily basis.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
So we're almost out of time. So what can we expect for programming next year?
So, like I said, the homework help is a really big one. Opening up our mentoring opportunities more to people outside in the community, and of course, our Empowering Youth Today program, which is a program that talks about abstaining from alcohol, tobacco, and other drug use, learning about healthy habits when it comes to healthy lifestyle living. Teaching kids about healthy relationships. We have that age group where the budding relationships, are there, and it's at 13 years old, it's just one of those relationship things where we really want to give them the resources to understand what a healthy relationship looks like, how to interact and socialize, and how to basically just be the best citizens that they can be. So the more we teach those kids these critical skills at an early age, the better off they're going to be when they get to be our age.
I agree. We're out of time. Thank you so much for being here. Once again, Happy New Year to you and your entire staff, and thanks for what you do in our community.
Thank you so much, Nancy.
Thank you. I'll be right back with Cindy Johnson from Huron Humane Society following these messages. Hi, welcome back. I'm with Cindy Johnson from Huron Humane Society. Happy New Year.
Same to you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, and as I had mentioned to our guests before, you've had a pretty wonderful year too.
We have, and I just want to say the Boys and Girls Club does a fantastic job.
They do.
So following them is always a pleasure. But yes, we have had a wonderful year. Wonderful donors who make it possible for us to accomplish what we accomplish. We've taken in about 600 animals since the first of the year, and we still have a few more days. So we could not do this without the support of the community. As a private nonprofit, we only do what we do because the community supports us.
And you had a really good Giving Tuesday.
We did have a fantastic Tuesday, so anyone who gave on Giving Tuesday, we cannot tell you how much it means to end the year with, you know, the kind of donations that came in on Giving Tuesday. It helps us kick off the new year with a little bit under our belt and ready to start again. Toward the end of the year, in the last few days before the Christmas holiday, you know, we took in some pretty severe cases. You know, those all cost us money too.
Yes.
Tobin had to have an eye removal. Dwayne had to have entropion surgery, and that's where their eyelashes flip in, so they have constant eye irritation and infections. He had both of them. He has to go through a second surgery. They did the first one. And then we took in a cat that was hit by a car. Schweitzer's asked us if we would take it in and try to rehab. Otherwise, they would have had to euthanize because they don't have the time or the facility to care for an animal like that. And we said we would try. He has a broken back, lost lots of skin off one side of his leg, and he was blind for a bit. I think it was probably more trauma.
Oh, probably.
But he is rehabbing at our facility. Over the last few days, he's tried to get up a little bit, which is fantastic. So when we get those big cases, it costs us money.
Sure.
But we want to try to help as many animals as we can. So we are so thankful for Giving Tuesday.
And so you have a lot of cats right now.
Yes, we do.
Okay, and that's like a cyclical thing this time of year. You're always overwhelmed with cats.
Yes.
And kittens.
And kittens. We have really whittled down our waiting list, so we've worked really hard to do that. We're down to a couple of pages, and we keep bringing them in as they go out. Bissell was fantastic this year because they extended their the adoption event till the 21st of December, from the 10th of December to the 21st. So it gave us a really good opportunity to find great homes for kittens and cats, and we did. We had a lot of adoptions, and every time we adopt out, we bring in more. So we bring in and as many animals as we can handle at one time with the staff that we have.
And Owen, please spay and neuter your pets. Please spay and neuter your pets. If you go there and see those animals or see the cats in the wintertime sitting places and outside, it's just so sad.
It is sad. And this time of year we get a lot of calls from people, you know, where cats have maybe been in the neighborhood or in the area for a while, but then it starts getting cold and they're looking for a place to bring them. So, you know, we try to get in as many of those animals as we can as well. But it is really sad. They're out there.
I know I saw something on Facebook about a cat laying in the snow and everybody raced and got it, but the cat didn't make it.
It did not make it. We did take it in, and we tried really hard. Schweitzer's helped us with that cat. Said we'd do anything we can to help it, but it just didn't make it through the night. So it's sad when that happens. And it's difficult on staff, I can tell you, because we want to save everything. We want to save everything. And when we lose one, it's really, you know, we take that personally.
Oh, yes. So anything new and exciting coming up for the new year?
I'm sure more animals.
Yes, I'm sure that will be there.
I think that we don't have any new and exciting things. You know, we kind of, you know, start off, we should have a new kitten or dog of the year, the firstborn at the shelter, and start with #1 and see where we end at the end of the year. But, you know, we just continue to do what we do and try to do it as well as we can. Of course, COVID keeps us from having big events and stuff, so even the small donations, you know, the 5, the 10, the 15, the 25 and up, really, really matter to us because it's the only way we can do what we do.
And the products that you use, you know, the bleach and the hand sanitizer and the laundry soap and the fabric softener sheets and the cleaning supplies, anything you use at home, you can use at the Humane Society.
And we use it in large quantities.
You do, and blankets and
old towels, fleeces, and this time of year they're on sale at most of the big box stores. You can get them relatively cheap, and we wash them and wash them and wash them till we can't use them anymore. So they are fantastic in the wintertime and colder months with the cats.
Okay, so you don't know of any fundraising you're going to be doing at this point yet?
No,
kind of hard to tell.
It's kind of hard to tell. You know, we have talked about maybe trying to do an online auction, but as we go into the first of the year, we'll kind of see where everything's going. If we can gather, we'll gather, but if we can't, we'll find other ways to raise funds. We'll still continue our bottle drive. That has kept us alive.
Yes, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I actually have some to bring to you.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. And what about volunteers?
Volunteers, we can always use volunteers. So even when we have these special care animals that we get a lot of. Sometimes it's just sitting with them, petting them, you know, like Marty can't move. We set up, and you can go to our Facebook page, we posted it last night, but we set up our camera, our phone with the fish that go on the screen and just set it there, and he just lays there and watches it. So even to do things like that and sit with him and just pet him, he's not very mobile, but things like that really matter when it comes to the recovery of animals and socializing them.
Okay. And as we're taping this, there's a forecast for some pretty cold weather coming up. So real important that you keep your pets safe too.
Yes, please do that. And if there is a kitten or a cat in your neighborhood and you know that they've been there for a while and they need shelter, food, water, please, please, when it gets cold like this, provide it for them. The cats are really good at surviving in the wild, but when it gets that cold, it's impossible.
And
just
they
impossible.
need water to drink, and they need food to keep their energy, keep the furnace going, and keep warm in this weather.
Yeah, so if they're out there, please help them.
Yes, and the Humane Society can't necessarily take them in because you have a waiting list. You're so overwhelmed for the amount of staff that you have to take care of the animals.
Yep, but if we can help, we do. So.
And I know you offered food and
we
things.
offer food, if people need food, litter, any of those sorts of things to help with those animals, we will help.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, I want to thank everyone at the shelter. You do a great job out there. I have the opportunity to go there quite often, and I'm really impressed in what goes on there and what you do. So I wish everyone there a Happy New Year, and hope that you're able to do get out there and do a big fundraiser or that online auction, because I know those funds are very needed.
They are. And Happy New Year to you, and we cannot thank WBKB enough for allowing us to do this and get our message out.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Yes.
Please stay tuned for Dr. Don Mcmaster following these messages.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don Mcmaster, president of Alpena Community College. Pleased to be with you this morning. We're filming this on the last day of 2021, New Year's Eve, so I would like to wish everyone a happy 2022. What I'd like to talk about today is a publication that came out last week related to the college. It's called the Alpena Community College Spring 2022 Update, and it has a lot of interesting information related to the college in it, things that students would like to know and need to know. But in particular, I'd like to start focus on one feature in the magazine, and that's called, the article is entitled Ambient Learning Transforms ACC. So ambient learning is something that I didn't know what that meant when I first spoke to the staff when I took over as president 6.5 years ago. I'd been at the college for 24 years at that time. Of course, I'd walked through the buildings many, many times. And it occurred to me that we had a lot of opportunity to make the interior of the college more interesting. We had a lot of walls that were bare and fairly unused, and they weren't particularly interesting or inviting. I suggested to the staff at that time we should think about a way to liven up the walls, the interior classrooms, and the grounds themselves. So I found out later there's a name for this, like there often is in anything related to education, and it was called ambient learning. And its biggest practitioner among Michigan community colleges was a president, now retired, at Lansing Community College named Dr. Brent Knight. He had been trained as an artist, and he really had transformed Lansing Community College's campus from a pretty unappealing, a wonderful school, but to walk the halls of the buildings and to walk the grounds was pretty gray. And over his tenure there, which lasted 12 years, he really transformed the place. And it was something he was proud of. He didn't brag about it a lot at all, really. But there was just a lot more color, it was a lot more inviting. So I got to know Dr. Knight, and because I admired what he'd done and wondered if he might have some ideas for us at ACC. So Dr. Knight, one day shortly before he retired, came all the way up from Lansing in the morning and met with a group of us in Center 106. And he talked about their journey and what they had done and what they wouldn't do if they had it to do over again and what worked really well. And it was a wonderful exchange of ideas, very generous on his part because there wasn't a whole lot in it for him or LCC to help ACC out, but he did it nonetheless. And one of the things that he stressed, I want to get this right, so this would have been in November 2019. His story, there were kind of 7 key themes that came out. And one is the intent is to create a sense of curiosity and openness to learning. That's what ambient learning is about from his standpoint. Second, making the campus feel inviting and inclusive. Those are essential components. Third was integrating local history with college history. When you do that, that has a kind of a multiplier positive effect because oftentimes the histories of both places are intermingled and linked. He also said it doesn't cost an arm and a leg to do well. In other words, you could spend way more money than you need to on it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that spending a little less can't get you an equally positive effect. This was a good point, and he's right about that. He also said the process can be derailed, I guess temporarily or permanently, by casual or purposeful offensive content. In other words, you need to restrain yourself as an institution from going down the road of being over provocative or inflaming people or angering people or making people feel disrespected. He's right about that. Once launched, the process creates its own direction and momentum. This is something we've seen. And then it leads to his last point, momentum can be a powerfully positive force. It can be, and it is. We've seen that on our campus. It started small with a little logo. One of our custodians, now retired, Garth Gapsky, had a great idea of putting the original logo underneath the finish in the Besser Tech lobby. It looked great. It got people fired up. And then that led to more work in the Besser Tech lobby, student artwork up above, which had always been kind of wasted space, new fireplace, new furniture. And then around, it kind of spread and went down the hall toward the physics lab, where we had a really nice mural with Einstein and Tesla and some interesting things, and throughout the building. And now we have opened Van Leer Hall and the Ruth Julian Center for Health Sciences, and there's opportunities all along those hallways to make the place interesting, more interesting. So when people are walking down the hall, they look and they say, well, that's interesting. Or how does that connect? Or it opens people's minds toward what college ideally can be about, which is a place where learning can happen and curiosity, exploration. The last thing about Dr. Knight's approach, he had in the center of his campus, I love this, and I thought it was such a wonderful thing. It was a cylindrical sculpture, probably about 8 or 10 feet high, maybe 4 feet across, lit from within. And a CNC machine had cut out greetings or hello and all the languages that are spoken by the students at Lansing Community College. So at night, the light shone through, and it was kind of like a beacon of a welcoming beacon in the center of his campus, saying hi to everyone in any language that they might be their native tongue. And ultimately, the welcoming and inclusiveness is a really important piece of community college work. So that's Ambient Learning at ACC. Happy New Year's, and hope to see you on campus in 2022.
This has been Talk of the Town with your host, Nancy Smitham and Dr. Don Mcmaster. For a list of community events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at wbkb11.com and click on our community link. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production.